Hi guys, it's been a few days since I've filmed the first half of this video, well, basically I've not been well enough to do anything, so I'm giving myself a few days off, enjoying a coffee. So that's that one. Right, so you take your first one and you wipe off as much as you can get off. You can see you get quite a bit off there. Let me just make sure you can see that on a different camera as well. You can get quite a bit off that. Let's go for that one. There you go. So you want to get your nail in, your thumbnail or your fingernail, doesn't matter which, and actually turn the whole thread out until it actually comes out of the it's not easy trying to do this and actually try and show you guys as well. So you push it as hard as you can into the toilet paper and just turn it until it comes out, and trying to squeeze in your nails in as best you can. So this takes a heck of a long time to do all the lug nuts on the snare drum. So one at a time, you just keep clearing out all the crap. So I'm going to turn off two of the cameras while I just plough through. So I'm going to do the second lot. I'm going to go on to the second lot, the bottom lug nuts. You saw what I've done on the top one, you don't need to see it again, so I'm going to do the rest off camera. So I'll see you in a few minutes. And a certain gentleman wanted to be seen on camera, I'm guessing. This is Mitch. I'm going to now move over to the lugs themselves, or the tensioning stays, or whatever it is you want to call them. Again, clean toilet paper, and just give them a wipe. You can see there's quite, where's the camera? There it is. You can see there's quite a bit of just debris on there. Just bring it back up to a shine if you can. Sorry, just to let you know, after cleaning off all the lug nuts, I've been and washed my hands so I don't get oil on the lug nuts, the lugs themselves. So that was nice and tidy. Really simple job this one is. It's usually quite easy to do. So we got to the point that you've got the shells nice and clean, the lugs are nice and clean, the lug nuts are all nice and clean, the hoops are nice and clean, and we've got brand new heads, top and bottom. So it's now time to start assembling the snare drum. So when you're doing them back together, putting them back together again, you don't want them way tight, so you just want them to like grip, and you're just getting a bit of white on your thumb, but no more than that. when you're constructing, sorry, not constructing, when you're reassembling your snare drum and you're putting the lugs actually onto the shell, use a screwdriver. Don't be tempted to use a pistol drill or an electric screwdriver, because you never really know how much tension you're going to be putting onto the screw that's actually holding it on. And when I say finger tight, I mean finger tight. I'm just using the tips of my fingers. I'm not gripping it like a cricket bat or whatever you use. You know, I'm actually using just the fingertips, so finger tight. Now we get to the bit that Paul wanted to do, is actually putting the head actually onto the shell. So when Andy lent me the snare drum, it had Aquarian top and bottom heads on. I don't have any Aquarian heads, but I do have what I put on my Ludwig 400 snare drum and my Pearl Free floating snare drum, both 14-inch. Okay, so the hoop has been cleaned. I'm just going to place it on the shell. Oh, excuse me. So how I try to seat, sorry, not seat the head, how I try to place the hoop on the shell is by looking down one of the holes in the lug nuts, in the hoop, and get it right over the hole in the lug, and then I go right to the other end, trying to hold that in position that side, come right the exact opposite of the snare drum, and that should be in perfect place the whole way round. So you're now actually going to see why I put them all in the same order, top and bottom. So top and bottom. I'm going to start the other side of the hoop, the other side of the snare chain, and I'm just going to place it on so it just drops. Do you know what? I'm going to get a bit close. So just so it grips, not grips, above a grip. So I'll put the next one in, making sure that I'm going in exactly the same order as they came off. And the hoop has stayed in exactly the same place as the way I wanted it. If your hoop actually does move while you're doing this, and it didn't sit right when you was actually putting it on, it's possible that the hoop has warped. If not, the shell has warped, and that's going to be a whole different ball game, which I will do a video on a bit later on, or a lot later on, because that's quite an in-depth one. So they're just a few turns on each. Now this is where I use or utilise the Pearl drum key with the weights either side. hoping you can see that. Yeah, with the weights either side. Starting at where I first started it off, I just try and spin it in such a way, and it's just gripped already. Gripped. So you don't want any more tension than that at the moment. So once it's gripped, you stop twisting. I've got to be honest, I really love these. They're such a time saver. Now then, making sure your hands are clean. Just give it a press in the middle to see how many rivels you've got all the way around. All the rivels look quite even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the drum key on, and it's going to have 1 half turn, and to the opposite side 1 half turn, all the way around. And that is an impatient cat, you can hear. Right. Well, you can hear a little crack then. What we're going to do is just going to add a bit more weight again. Now, there's a lot less waves or rivels or whatever you want to call them all the way around. So, it's starting, you can actually hear that cracking sound. I'm going to do a full turn all the way around. That one's hardly gripping anything. There we go. What that is starting to do is starting to seat the head properly. Oh, hang on, that's not right. There we go. Okay, there we go, lovely sound. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to horrify you completely. I'm going to take this into the house and I'm going to put some weight on it. My weight, to be exact. Okay, so I've come inside the house because I need to put way more pressure on it than I can do in the workshop. What I'm after is an even cracking sound, a really high pitched cracking, and you want to get as much out of this as you can. I'm quite heavy, I'm 110, maybe 20 kilos. Put your whole weight on it, it won't break. So what I do, just bounce up and down, putting loads of pressure on it. And it should sound like that. Like a bass drum, a bad bass drum. I've seated the head, and that's what I was doing inside the house and pressing it down as hard as I can. By seating the head, you're actually eventually preventing it from going out of tune very quickly when you first start playing it. It can also really improve the length, the life of the head as well. There is a few people who've said it makes no difference, but then they've always have to tune their drums up again. These heads, if I can move that one over to here, let's see. Yeah, you can see that's now gone slack, and that one's slack, that one's slack. You can just about hear it. So now we'll get on to actually tuning it. So if you lie it flat, not much airflow's moving around the head. If you lift up, you can hear quite a lot of movement in the head. So I'm going to just go half a turn up on everything. In fact, I'm going to go a bit more on that one because that had no, you know, I'm going to have to do a whole turn. Wow, I really did seat that one good. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to back that off actually to show you what I'm doing. This side there's absolutely no rivels, whereas here you can actually see, I don't know whether you can see it on the camera, but there's quite a few. If I go from this side actually, there you go, there's quite a few rivels, and I need to get rid of those. Back to where I've got it. So I've got to the point that it's actually making a note. I don't know, I'm hoping you can hear that. This is where I slow down. How can I explain what I want to do? I tend to do that and flick my finger away. Now I'm not listening to the note, I'm listening to the actual, just a hum that's not even a note, you can just hear it underneath there. So I'm going to bring that one up a bit. So if you then start doing the hitting it, so it's high up there and it's high up here. I'm just going to crank it up because I've got a long way to go with this drum head. So I heard earlier that that was quite high up there as well. It's still cracking, so I need to go a bit further. That one's not even doing anything now. It's still a bit low on the note for me. What I'm listening to is not the actual note of the actual hit. I'm listening to the hum afterwards. And it's still a little bit low there. I'm just hoping that the microphones on the phones, these phones, and the camera actually are picking up what I'm doing. Right, it's got a rough note that I'm after. So, there we go. So I'm just going to keep going up. that's a bit close to what I'm after. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to then now start on, I'm going to leave it just there for the tuning. I'm nowhere near to the pitch that I want. I want to go a lot higher with the pitch. I'm hoping that it should all work out, allegedly. And it's still cracking now, you can just hear it clicking away. Okay, so top head's on, or the batter head. I'm going to put the snare head itself on. Again, I'm using a Remo head. This is an Ambassador snare head. So, I'll turn it that way. I think you can see it, I hope. There you go. There you go. So, I try and line up the logo with the logo directly underneath it. I'm going to give the other hoop just a wipe down. So same deal with the top. A line up hole above one of them, and this isn't sitting right. So what's happening there? Camera here. You can see my hand passing between the hoop and the shell. Why is that so? Obviously the snare is warped in some direction, and I get the feeling it's up here. So I've got to quickly have a look, see what I've done there, or what has happened there. Yeah, that's definitely out. Oh yeah, right. How am I going to resolve that? I'm going to whack it with a mallet. Hoop, snare drum hoop. I don't know whether you can actually see what I'm doing, but let me just turn this camera. I think you can see it there now. Oh, that's looking a bit better. It's oh, look at that. Assembling the bottom head. See, the drum heads the drum lug nuts are actually going in much nicer now. All the threads have been cleaned. See, sweet as a button. And with the, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. Come on, focus in. So I want to try and get the lip of the drum nut just touching the washer. See if I can, I don't know if I can focus in on that, but I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to do that the whole way around, just until it touches and starts to grip. There we go. Lovely. Right, good. Now, normally I would replace these vinyl strips. Unfortunately, I don't have any at the moment, but you know, I'm sure I'll grab some at some point. I don't think that's the right way round, is it? Right, the hoop, got to make sure my label on that Tama is the right way up. Right, I want it to be nice and central. Right, that is on there, incredibly tight. I'm going to spin it around. You can just check if that's in. There you go. Let's see. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with that. Lovely. Oh, it's a bit mucky in there. Okay. So this is going to be the tricky bit, making sure my little label is upside down, because the snare drum is upside down. I've done the basic tuning of the snare drum. It's all nice and solid. The snares are not rattling around in any way. Got a lot of horrible harmonics that are all in there that you just don't need. So what I'm going to do is I usually put a 0 hoop on my snare drum, because I think it's absolute sacrilege to have gaffer tape all over your snare drum, because it just takes so much out of the snare. It makes it sound absolutely horrible. So I've bought a set of these Remo 0 hoops. What's it called? Tone control rings. Yes, tone control ring. We don't call them, I don't normally call them that. 12 quid from the Salop Music Centre in Shrewsbury. and you get two in there with these. So you get a thick one, I think it's about 1 inch, and you get a thinner one. You know what, why don't we measure it? So you can see the thicker one is 39 millimeters, and the thinner one is 25 millimeters, so that's 1 inch. Put that up there. And I'm going to show you what the snare drum sounds like with without any dampening on. Rings so much. So I'm going to stick a zero hoop on it. Sounds lovely. It's much better. I'm going to stick the bigger zero hoop, which should dampen down a little bit more. Bit too dead for me. I'm going to go for the 1 inch. And there you go. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to bet as far as I can go with it for today. I'm going to let it settle overnight and give it a really good tune up before I give the snare drum to Andy. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please click on the like and subscribe if you can be bothered. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.